let's get ready now for the Heavy Metal Championship, the big showdown where Class 4 and Class 8 come back together. Scott Taylor from Belvidere, Illinois will be in the 800. Jack Flannery will jump back into his Class 4 Chevrolet. These two expected to do battle. Greg Gerlach in the 402 Dodge from Dakota, Minnesota. Also on the starting grid, Kevin Probst from New Lenox, Illinois, our Class 4 winner from earlier today. And Bill Loaf from Marquette, Michigan. He'll be in the 406. Dave Parsons in a Chevrolet from Antigo, Wisconsin. That's our next stop on the series. Jimmy Crowder making the long haul, 1,200 miles each way from Tallahassee, Florida, to be in the starting field. And Linda Lou Schlemm from Elmvale, Ontario, in her Class 4. And as we look at the rest of the starting grid, Ivan, the start, again, so critical.
So very critical it is, and the four-wheel drive should have an advantage here. Class 8, two-wheel drive, and four-wheel drive. Here we are, Jack Flannery. Let's see how he does.
Now, he's in the Class 4. We also have a view out the back there, and that is with Scott Taylor's Class 8. So there is the green flag, and look at Flannery shoot out of a cannon.
Look at Jack Flannery, 800 horsepower, and he comes off the jump, and it's so critical to be clean here.
Greg Gerlach in the yellow Dodge. Oh, they get together. Flannery and Greg Gerlach come together, and Flannery cannot make the turn. He's going to go off the course.
I saw something break. I saw something in front end of Jack Flannery's truck. It looked like possibly an axle or U-joint.
Look at all the contact as Scott Taylor gets spun around, and he actually cuts off the course there. So he may end up getting a penalty. Remember, Kevin Probst had a penalty earlier as he cut the course in the Class 4 championship.
That's exactly right. It could be bad.
There is your current leader. That is Greg Gerlach in the Rancho Dodge. And there's Jack Flannery. Boy, he has got to be frustrated. Take a look and take us through it.
Okay, watch this. They come together. It shows how loose these trucks are now. It looks like you got control. They get a little tight, a little bang. Jack comes off the throttle. Greg comes off the throttle, and obviously Jack broke something. Look at the left front. See the axle flop in there?
Yeah. It's amazing that they did not go over. Let's go on board and take us through it, Ivan. This is what it looks like from the cockpit.
Look at the acceleration of Jack Flannery's truck. Off the big jump, throttle timing so critical. And right here is where they're going to have the problem. Off this jump, they come together, he gets out of the throttle, and there's where it broke.
Saves it from rolling over, but cannot turn the corner. And he is out of this race. Meanwhile, Greg Gerlach continues in the lead. Let's go back to turn number 2. Now look at the Ford at the top of the left of the screen. That is Scott Taylor, and he gets spun around, and this is what ends up happening, Ivan.
Well, I tell you what, he may possibly should have gone around that tire instead of cutting it off. We'll see if he gets a penalty over this.
So Scott Taylor, here's what it looks like out the back of his BF Goodrich Ford. Whoa!
He gets way sideways, too far sideways. You can see how muddy it is and how slick. And he says, I'm going to chance it. I'm going to go between the barrier here and see what happens.
The track is drying out in many other places. There, it's perfectly dry. But in that one corner, it was still a little wet, too wet for him to hold the corner.
Marty, here's always the argument has been, is the four-wheel drive or the two-wheel drive the quickest on a track like this? And obviously what happens when it's wet and slick, the four-wheel drive takes off, get a big lead, and then later on the race, the Class 8s have to catch up. We'll see what happens.
Four-wheel drive is in first, second, and third right now with Greg Gerlach, Bill Loaf, and Kevin Probst. That is Gerlach. There is second place, Bill Loaf, and here comes third place, a hard-charging Kevin Probst.
And here comes Scott Taylor with the horsepower.
Taylor fighting his way back through the pack. That is Linda Lou Schlemm as well with Jeff Dorr. So there is your top 5.
All the weight, about 5,000 pounds in those four-wheel drive trucks.
Now there's Jeff Dorr trying to cut inside of Linda Lou Schlemm, and oh, he has to come to a stop because Kevin Probst is dead in the water up against the barrier there, and Probst trying to get underway, but it doesn't look like he's going to be successful. Our Class 4 champion is out of this race. Here is Greg Gerlach. He is pulling away from Bill Loaf.
And this is where Greg Gerlach in this four-wheel drive has really got to take advantage of the situation. He's got a muddy track. He's got an advantage. He's got a lead. He's got to get out there and keep it, get away from these Class 8 guys.
Look at the way those four wheels are digging through the mud and then onto dirt. And look out, Jeff Dorr going way wide around Linda Lou Schlemm. And that is a battle for position. That is third place going to Jeff Dorr. There is Scott Taylor coming through trying the same maneuver, but he's got two-wheel drive, but he still makes it stick.
Scott Taylor's got a lot of it. Here, look at the back of Scott Taylor's truck here. The way he pitches this around sideways.
Nice pass as Scott Taylor gets past Dave Hockers. Here is our leader getting around the stalled vehicle of Kevin Probst. Greg Gerlach still on his way.
And Greg Gerlach has just got to just keep going here. Just keep digging, take advantage of this track.
There's the leaderboard at the Memorial Day 100 Heavy Metal Championship. Stay with us. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Memorial Day 100 in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And that's your heavy metal leader, Greg Gerlach.
Marty, I just noticed that we got a problem. I see a potential problem coming up. Watch the left rear side of Greg Gerlach's truck. It looks like it's way too low.
Maybe a spring. Whoa, look at the way it's bouncing, too.
He's got a major problem, I'm telling you.
Gerlach may be in trouble. Our leader, yes, he is pulling over. He wipes out one of the water barrels that marks the course, breaks through the banners and pulls into pit lane. And now the battle is going to heat up back here for third place. That is Scott Taylor trying to get around Linda Lou Schlam, and he's going to do it.
Marty, here we go. The Class 8 two-wheel drives are coming on strong. This is their time.
There is Bill Loaf. Look at Jeff Dorr get off course. He's trying to reel in Loaf. He knows that's for the lead. First and second, almost nose to tail. Let's go back and see if you can analyze it. The left rear suspension.
I think what happened, he's broke a spring or something, Marty. He just lost all the wheel travel in that left to rear quarter. And it just really come down hard and probably really ripped something out there.
Take a look. You get a better look at it from this angle. Left rear.
Absolutely. There's something hung up. Either a shock might be hung. It's completely taken the travel away from the left rear quarter of that truck. And that came down awfully hard.
What a bad break for Greg Gerlach as he is now out of this race. And now here comes the battle for Jeff Dorr as he takes over the lead from Bill Loaf. So Jeff Dorr on a tear as he goes on the outside of Bill Loaf.
Marty, as you can see, we're starting to get the dust here. Scott Taylor really on the warpath. He's really strong.
Taylor's in third. There you see him in the back portion of the screen. In fact, there are all three of our leaders. First place, Jeff Dorr. Second place, Bill Loaf. Third place, Scott Taylor. Dorr in the Ford. He used to drive a Jeep, but he's made the switch to Ford. So far, he's not regretting it now.
Look at the rooster tail off of Scott Taylor's truck here. He's on the throttle. He knows this track is drying out. Now's the time to make his move. He's got to catch these guys, and we'll see if he's got enough time. He may have waited too long.
I can't believe it. We've got shadows out here for the first time today. The sun has finally broken through just as we're just about to finish the day of racing.
It's starting to get a little bit of dust.
That is first and second coming right. Whoa, and Dorr comes down hard on the front side of the suspension. He is really having trouble fighting through that corner every time.
Well, that's a slick part of the track. It just happens to be one of the... Whoa, what do we get?
Oh, Pat Flanagan. He is up on the bicycle and saves it nicely.
That was a good save. That was tricky, I'll tell you.
Flanagan in sixth place, and he holds on to the spot. Now coming down the backstretch. This is for second place. That's Bill Loaf trying to hold off the 800 of Scott Taylor. Ford against Ford.
And here comes Scott Taylor with all the horsepower, and he is going to try and make a pass. He's got to get by and try and keep that mud and dirt out of his radiator. He can't spend much time there.
Let's go back and take a look at this one more time. You've been in this position.
Have I ever? He just hit that little berm a little bit too hard and got it right up on two wheels.
Well, he saves it nicely and stays in sixth place here at the Heavy Metal Championship. There is Jeff Dorr, current leader.
And Marty, this is one of the spots that was very muddy in that part of the corner. A little bit later, it's dry. So track's getting very, very tricky.
Action continues here. Uh-oh, it doesn't look like the action's going to continue for Dave Hockers. You can see the right front wheel literally plowing through the mud. He's trying to fight his way out of it, but I think the race is over for the 802 of Dave Hockers. Here's our leader once again.
We might have a trouble with the rear shocks on this truck. If you notice the back end starting to bounce, he could be losing those shock absorbers in the rear.
The battle for second place. Here is Bill Loaf trying to hold off on the outside. Here comes Scott Taylor, the Belvedere, Illinois native. Yes, he makes the pass stick. Scott Taylor now in second place. Remember the disastrous second turn they had. Oh, there was Dave Parsons going all the way. Wait a minute. Lower left portion of our screen, our leader. That is Jeff Dorr. He is stopped on the track. Here comes Scott Taylor. He passes him to take the lead.
Oh, that is too bad. Jeff was doing such a fantastic job. That's just horrible.
Here's the view outside the back of that pass on the outside. This was for second at the time. Scott Taylor on the outside around Bill Loaf. And you can see how quickly he leaves him behind. Here comes Scott Taylor. Whoa, and he's having a problem. And will he make it to the corner? No, he has to stop. Gets back on the throttle. Almost slides off course.
Marty, that's the same part of the track a lot of the guys have been having trouble with all day long.
There is Scott Taylor. Now, this is a Class 8 two-wheel drive heavy metal truck. Take another look. This is what it looks like out the back when you start turning around and doing the pirouette.
That's that asphalt that's got the dirt on it, and boy, it is really getting slick there, Marty.
Here is Scott Taylor. What a comeback after the disastrous first lap incident where he had to cut off the course. On board again. This shows you how rough it can be as we look out the back. No one in sight as far as a threat to take over the lead. There is second place, Bill Loaf. He just lost another fender.
And he's also smoking. He may have got a lot of mud in that radiator.
He has got very little left of the body panels, but it looks more like one of the stadium vehicles after you guys get done with it.
It certainly does. It does.
Bill Loaf trying to hold off Linda Lou Schlam. She is right behind him there. And Loaf having trouble. Smoke coming out of that vehicle.
It looks like that might be a brake locked up, Marty. That may not be engine smoke after all.
So there is Scott Taylor coming back from near disaster to take the checkered flag. And whoa, we've got a fire in the 827 of Mike Renkus. So the win goes to Scott Taylor. The fire, as everything heats up, is in Mike Renkus' truck. And the battle for second place will go to Bill Loaf as he will hold off Linda Lou Schlam here at the Memorial Day 100, the Heavy Metal Championship. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner at Lake Geneva. Back in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, you're looking at the Lady of the Lake. You're also looking at the final results of the Heavy Metal Championship. Behind Scott Taylor, Bill Loaf, Linda Lou Schlam, Mike Renkus was fourth, and Jimmy Crowder was fifth. Ivan Stewart's made his way to victory lane to talk with our winner, Scott Taylor.
As the track dried up a little bit, the four-wheel drive's got a little edge on us with the wet and all four wheels digging, and we had just two wheels digging, and once 3 or 4 laps went by, we got drier track conditions, and we started hooking up.
It sure looked good to me. Now, I understand you got a little sideways up there. Tell us about that.
Coming in pretty hot over the doubles in the front there, in front of everybody. I had to start sliding a couple times and slowed right down to a stop and got straightened out again. Come in pretty hot.
And I've also got to ask you about the awesome horsepower that motor's making. Tell us about the engine and how much horsepower that thing makes.
Well, we're trying a new big block Ford SVO engine. It's 560 inches and puts out somewhere near 850 horse on the dyno, and it really runs good. It's got a lot of torque. It's got like a pro stock gearing torque converter combination, and it really runs as long as it holds together.
As long as it holds together, that was the catchphrase of all the races today at the Memorial Day 100. Attrition played a big part.